Footy.tv.
Welcome back to the draft recap for the SA 2012 Super League. Gentlemen, joining me again, Sammy Ogden and Bruce Lee. Thank you, guys. Now, we've just seen the draft. A couple of interesting picks and a couple of interesting omissions. Guys, number one, Ryan Dutch. We called it before the draft. I think Bruce and I did. Guys, what do you think of Ryan going number one?
In hindsight, probably not a good idea. But no, I think it'd be pretty handy for Foley's team. It's going to go pretty well.
Yep.
He's, I don't know, doesn't look too disappointed about his pick there.
No, he doesn't, does he? All right, Sammy, what do you reckon?
I think picking Dutchy number one's fine. I think he got lucky managing to pick up a handler of Kev Robinson's quality that early on. Someone who can actually stick it to Dutch. And Foley can throw, just, rates his throws a little bit.
Yeah, depends on his day, I think. Whether he's on.
Foley.
Okay, so the next question is Joel Pillar. He got drafted in the 4th round by Morgan. It's a pretty dominant big man on that team. Gentlemen, what do you think? What kind of impact is that going to have?
Well, I think Sam called it. If Morgan and Joel were on the same team, we're going to be unstoppable.
For at least 3 weeks.
For
at least 3 weeks. The other story is Morgan has also picked Richard Appleby, who's also going to be missing around 5 or 6 weeks as well.
And Kristen Pash.
And Kristen Pash. How many weeks is he missing?
Too many.
At least 5.
At least 5.
Do they overlap?
So out of they have 11 players, three of which are going to be missing for most of the season. How do you think Morgan's team's going to go?
We're going to be fine. We'll be fine.
I think we're going to win just enough games to take out the whole thing.
Incidentally, all 3 of us are on that same team.
I think it's a pretty good team.
Yeah, I read it. I think the panel here feels it's going to be the best team.
Wow, how did that work out? So, gentlemen, biggest name to miss out. We have the list there. Who do you think?
I reckon Paul Mills. It's pretty quality. Didn't get it in.
Definitely a big name around South Australian Ultimate. Well known. Very well known.
Yep.
His playing skills are good. Bit harsh to miss out.
I think 2 big names to miss out for me were Scott Hosking. He's only just started playing, but he stands about 6'7" and can jump. And he's a really good talent coming out of Adelaide Uni.
6'7".
Almost, I reckon. He seems really tall to me. It might be because I'm short. And the other one was Luke Victory, who's a young player, fairly tall, knows how to throw.
Yeah, his throws are coming along next year.
A lot of room to develop still. So clearly the captains, didn't see enough in him this year. But I dare say with years to come, he'll definitely be a stalwart of many teams.
I think also Olaf Richter, Ollie.
Yeah.
He's been a consistent handler over the years. His disc skills are possibly better than some of the last few picks, so I think he was a bit shafted to miss out, unfortunately.
Oh, he's a bit unlucky. With that.
Look, I think everyone to miss out is probably a bit unlucky. The way the teams have worked out has been really interesting, and really all of them could have been picked at some stage. So, gentlemen, the dark horse. We mentioned it at the previous show. Now that we've seen the picks and seen where everyone's gone, who do you guys think that's going to be that player that was drafted really low but is going to be really, really valuable to their team? Brucey?
I reckon Lee Kilmeyer apparently had a pretty good Melbourne hat. He's been leading his team in the Div 2s.
Yep.
Sam Cowan is a bit flaky, so he's had to take up the leadership role, and he's doing pretty well.
Yeah, so Lee was drafted in the 9th round by BJ.
Pretty low.
Yeah,
I think just because he's BJ's mate, but I think he'll end up being a good pick in the end.
Yeah. Sammy?
I'm going to go with another pick from Beach's team. I think Alistair McGrath. Quick, gets some good blocks, a lot of intensity. I can't see him throwing a lot of goals, but I can definitely see him scoring a lot and getting a lot of Ds.
Yeah. Now, I think Shane Bird, Ben Foley's last pick, drafted, number 44, the very last pick. And honestly, I was picking this guy to go somewhere in the middle, 5th, 6th round. He's got that kind of physical talent, and he's got big throws. Like, his throws are amazing. It's just a matter of how he's going to fit into the team now and what he's going to do. He's certainly got the talent to be that guy that's, you know, scoring big time on both the offense and the defense.
Well, he doesn't
Now-
have any pressure on him, so
Yeah.
he'll be fine at pick 44.
Yeah, so Mr. Fantasy, the stats whore. Who do you reckon?
You'd like to think Sam Ogden, but as in who gets the most stats or the most positive stats? Because then maybe
The most
Sam
positive
Ogden.
stats.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Dutchy
Dutchy?
on Foley's team. Big defensive. I can see him playing deep in his zone a lot, being a real strike cutter or strike thrower.
Yep.
He's going to get a lot of blocks and a lot of receptions.
Dutchy's throws have been a little bit iffy lately. I think he's going to struggle
Well,
completing them.
He'll be more likely to be in of a Foley or a Kev Robinson huck.
Yep.
So I can
I
see
think
him
that's a good
scoring a lot
call.
of points.
I reckon I'm going to go with Greg Schrader. This guy, he looked pretty good in the combine.
Yeah, he's
Pretty hot.
He
Pretty
tore it
hot.
up out there. Now, gee whiz, who to pick? There's so many. I think Morgan still. He's picked a team with a lot of throwers there. So, like I said, he doesn't have to be the dude now. He doesn't have to be looking to break the defense with his throws. He can go out there and be really tall, which is something that.
He is going to have to compete with I'll get every stat in the game, Joel Pillar. So,
But that's only for 3 weeks.
3 weeks, yeah, true.
Okay, so guys, who's going to lead the league in scores? Do you reckon? I think Max Kaon for mine. He's really quick. You know, it's hard to mark up against, and he's got a soccer player's mind that he seems to know where the spaces are and how to get to them quickly.
Yeah, maybe Max.
You disagree there, Bruce?
Actually, I
I'm sensing
reckon,
reluctance.
I reckon Tasman might get a few points just because I
Yeah.
played with him a bit, and he's pretty sneaky.
Is this
I don't know if
overall
he's
score or point score?
as in goals.
As in
goals.
goals
Yeah.
caught.
He's not as I don't know if he's as quick as Max, but he's sneakier.
Yeah.
I'm going with Dutchy again.
Dutchy again?
Again, big fast receiver. He's got some guys who can put it to him, and he's really aggressive to get the disc.
Okay. Assists. Who's going to get
Sando.
them? Sando?
Sando. Strike thrower on that team. Great throws. I'm going
Unless
with
there's
Sando with all the assists. Until he breaks himself.
or comes up against a
What's that?
or until he comes up against a backhand mark.
Oh.
Now, I think those are some really good names. Down low, though, we've got... where is he? Richard Appleby. He's only going to be here for 3 weeks, though I reckon he'll do really well on the throwing side of things. He's been throwing a lot of goals for UE. I don't think he'll top the category, but over those first 3 weeks, I think he'll lead the way. Now, blocks. Who's going to be the defensive monster on these teams?
I don't know.
Asking the hard questions now.
It's getting tough now. Other than me, I reckon Morg's gonna smash it if he plays deep. Maybe not in the first 3 weeks if Joel does it, but between them they're gonna smash it easily.
Yep. Sammy?
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. There are a lot of good players in each of these teams who are going to get a lot of blocks. And there are some really good defensive specialists across the board. I mean, BJ's got a short but quick line. Got a lot of layup bids, put a lot of pressure on it.
Yep.
Johnny's got some really good tall receivers. Foley's got some really aggressive big bidders. And Morgan's got players like Morgan and Joel. So
Yeah.
the aerial contests are going to be won by that team.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. I really couldn't call it.
Okay. I think the Davis boys, both of them might be in there. Tim has been coming along with his aerial game. He's been troubling a lot of...
Yeah, but you can just throw a high release over Sean.
What I was about to say is Sean has been playing really well on the ground. So creating layout blocks on unders and,
You don't
getting...
really see him there either when you're trying to throw. He just pops up from
Yeah,
behind someone.
blocks count as blocks. It doesn't matter how you get them. But, he's been creating opportunities that haven't been there for a lot of other players simply because he tries really hard. Now, throwaways. I know, Sammy, you led the category last year.
I'm calling myself already. I'll take it out. Yep.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, I think I'll agree with you.
I will.
Confidence, Bruce. Appreciate it.
I will too, because you're on my team. So that
Okay,
means
no
I'm
worries.
not throwing it away.
Yeah, it's going to be one of us three, definitely.
And Joel, who came second last year in
Oh,
throwaways.
Joel.
Oh wow!
So
So, information from the crowd says that Morgan's picked pretty much the top 5 when it came to the throwaways from last year.
Outstanding.
All right, excellent. It should be an interesting year. Now, other guys that got picked, who's the most promising? Who do we expect the most out of?
I want to know who got picked higher than you thought.
All right.
We haven't done the lead balloon yet.
Sorry.
I think probably, for me, most promising is Rowan Steele.
Rowan Steele?
BJ's team. Tall, relatively new receiver.
Yep.
Puts his body on the line for some bids. So, yeah, I think he's going to have a lot of promise over the season.
Yep. I think James Hurley, he was drafted relatively lowly, taken in round 9 by Johnny. And I think, he's coming along as a player. He seems very, very solid, but still has room to grow into something more insofar as a player. Now, the next topic is the lead balloon. Who do we think that was drafted, way too high for how good we think they are? Andy
Yeah.
Baddocks from the crowd?
To be honest, I'm looking at the third round, and there's 2 names that jump out at me.
Yeah.
Tim Davis, Andy Baddocks.
Tim
Yep.
Davis. I thought Andy Baddocks was going to go higher, actually. I'm actually a bit disappointed with the captains with that one. I think
You thought Baddocks should be a round 2 pick?
not before me, but, somewhere in round 2.
Yeah. Okay, I think, Sammy, I think it's you, mate. Taken in the first round, led the league last year in throwaways. You're going to have to work hard to overcome that negative side of your game.
My impotence.
I remember a few drops in high-pressure games as well, Sammy.
Sorry, what now?
Golden point situations.
Oh,
I don't remember
So,
any of
I'm
those.
just,
I remember the throwaways. but-
taken in the first round, you've been drafted highly. There's, you're expected to be rated at, $50 plus in the fantasy draft.
A lot of
So,
pressure.
There's a lot of pressure on you, I think, and you
I'm
could
feeling
end
the
up
pressure
with
from my teammates right now. I'm feeling the team love here. Thanks,
you
boys.
could end up with the lead balloon.
But
All
definitely
right.
Tim Davis as well.
I'm going with Tim Davis.
Number 3, I don't know, 3rd round.
Alrighty, so the teams were Ben Foley, who's currently in blue, drafted Ryan Dutch, number 1, and then took Greg Schrader, Tim Davis, Kev Robinson, Dennis Shine, Val Zarkin, Brian Whalen, Rob Whiten, Scott McKenzie, Shane Bird, and then as a reserve, John Foley.
Nepotism.
Johnny Warren White took Dave Sando in the first round, then took Scott Middleton, Richard Klein, Chris Palazzi, Steve Harfield, Nick Djukovac, Chris Manning, Brian Shield, James Hurley, Jimmy Leck, and then Will Stevens as his reserve. BJ took Sam Kayon in the first round, then
Bad
Ben
mistake.
Thomas, Andy Baddocks, Tasman Mitchell, Max Kayon, Talis Smits, Rowan Steele, Sean Davis, Lee Killimer, Alistair McGrath, and Declan Brady as the reserve. And then lastly, Morgan took Sammy Ogden, as already mentioned in the first round. Then Bruce Lee, Kristen Pash, Joel Pillar, Mark Botka, Mike Middleton, James Connor, Richard Appleby, Duncan Wells, Dan Clinton, and then Rex as the reserve. Gentlemen, to win, what kind of tactics do you think Ben Foley's going to use with his team? Where do their strengths lie, and where do their weaknesses lie?
They're pretty tall. They go down.
Yeah, they do have a lot of
probably
tall.
down to about number 5. They're all tall receivers or have the capability to do that.
Yeah, and
You got Greg, bit of an X factor, he can do it all. And then I don't know below that who they got. Val, yeah. I mean they got some good. They've got a good mix. They got a good mix.
They do have a
I
good
think,
mix, and Shane Bird and Brian Whalen, numbers 7 and 10 for Ben Foley, are also fairly tall guys. They're pushing 6 foot, and Brian's probably about 6'2".
I think Foley's problem is that outside of Kevin Val, he doesn't really have any pure throwers.
Yeah.
His top 3 pick or Val's receiving. All right, so outside of Kev, he doesn't have any pure throwers.
Yeah,
Foley, Dutchy, and Greg all have throws and can all put some beautiful discs, but they don't have anyone who is going to step up and play the role that BJ or Morgan or Sando might play in one of the other teams.
yeah, I think you're right there. Their throwing talent is quite short, so when they come up against a a situation where they have to throw the disc a lot, I think they're going to struggle. You know, athletically, they've got to be right up there. They're pretty much the top team with the amount of tall and fast they've got. Well, not so much
They've got
fast.
some excellent quick receivers. But
Yeah, they
excellent
do.
Receivers, period.
Now, Johnny Warren White, his team, guys, where do their strengths and weaknesses lie?
I think Johnny's probably gone for the most well-rounded team.
Yep.
I mean, he's got some very good deep receivers, Johnny, Scotty, Chris Palazzi.
Yep.
He's got Sando, who's got to be one of the best throwers in SA, hands down.
On the forehand
so-
side.
I'm still yet to see this. I still think he can throw a backhand Sando. But
Oh, he
I could be
can.
wrong.
He'll just throw a forehand blade instead of throwing a backhand.
And then he's got some consistent throwers like Brian Shield, Jimmy Leck. The teams are gone, so I can't see who else. I think he's got Ricky Klein. Thank you. I knew I'd forgotten someone. So he's got some pure handlers. He's got some pure receivers, and then he's got a few people which can kind of the Chris Mannings, the Chris Palazzis, who can
Yep.
kind of do a bit of everything.
Yeah, I think athletically, these guys are maybe on the short end of the stick. They could struggle, but they've got a well-rounded team, like you say.
You calling them fat?
No, I'm not calling them fat. They're not fat by any means. They're just not as monstrous as some of the other guys out there.
I think Sando is definitely going to be doing most of the work in
Yeah.
that team through
So-
the middle.
Backhand force all the way.
It's going to be Sando through the middle there, and if he doesn't play well,
Yeah, but you see, Johnny's
this is gonna be a
compensating 'cause
hucking-
Johnny can huck a backhand, but he can't really huck a forehand as well. So between the two of them, they've
They
got
sh-
strong hucks either side. Unbeatable.
unbeatable.
There might be some method to that madness. We'll see how it turns out for them. Now, BJ, he's gone with his short fast strategy again.
Again,
I hear it didn't come off so well
worked
last
great
time.
last time.
It did. It worked well.
didn't.
No, I didn't.
No, it
didn't
didn't.
at
I
all.
think. How many games did you guys win in the last time?
Every game that BJ was there. Yeah, we won our first 3. I got injured. And then
So they lost
they
6,
lost
So they lost 6.
which is
That's
not,
the key factor here is that they lost 6.
yeah, not that they won 3.
No,
And who
let's
knows
ignore
if they're
that.
going to get
So-
3 games out of Beach this year.
Yeah,
So,
he is always a big worry.
Yeah.
What he's going to blow up
like
next is pretty
ankles
much-
made of glass, and I don't know.
I
what
think
the
their
rest-
problem's almost the exact opposite Foley has. Is they've got some really, really good throwers.
Yep, but not enough.
BJ, Sam Kayon, Benny Thomas with the weapon.
Yes, of
Andy
course.
Baddix.
And no.
He's literally a weapon. And he smacks you
Like,
over
they've
the
got some
face
really good
with it.
throwers, and then they've got a lot of speed, but they're lacking in height. I mean, they've got BJ and Talis, both big, tall players, and Fatty can play big.
Yep.
Oh, they've got
Rowan.
Rowan Steele. Sorry, I forgot about Rowan Steele.
A windy day
But
will
they-
be the end of this
a win-
team.
a windy-
It'll be all over.
Yeah, I
Slight
think-
gust. It'll be all
no,
over.
I think a windy day is going to help this team. They can do lots of little zippy passes and quick movement.
And also, no one can catch on that team. So
No one can catch.
I think
Oh,
Hey,
Benny Thomas puts in a bit. every
he's
now
all
and
right.
then.
He's all right.
He does okay for himself.
Yeah, I think you guys are right. They are a little bit short, but how they combat that, they might not have to. They could rely with what other talents they've got on their team, and not have to come up against Ben Foley's team, which seems to be, if you're not 6 foot, you're not getting picked. Now,
Now
Morgan.
the power line team. Here we
the
go.
power line. We all 3 of us got picked on this team. Now, guys, honest opinions. Where does Morgan's team strengths lie, and where does his weaknesses lie?
The first 3 weeks, I reckon. If we
The strengths are in the first 3
definitely,
weeks.
If we don't win the first 3 weeks, we'll be in trouble.
Yep.
But I think even when Joel leaves, we've got a lot of depth, a lot of height, and we can throw. So it's not too bad.
Don't point at me when you say that.
Didn't say good.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can throw.
The next word in that sentence was swill. Yeah, right. Now, I think the biggest problem with Morgan's team is that we do lose 3 strong players. I mean, Joel, Kristen, and Richard Appleby are all top flight players, and
Yep.
when
definitely.
they go, it's more the fact that we'll be low on subs.
Yeah.
We risk the possibility of especially chasing after the little bastards on BJ's team.
Yeah,
We could be running out of legs.
I agree 100% there. Not only are we losing 3 great players, we're losing 3 receivers pretty much. Richard isn't a receiver, but he's really quick. He's got good closing speed, and he's got big hops. And when Kristen and Joel leave, the average height of our team shrinks, and the average age probably goes up, because we've got Duncan anchoring the line up north there, and we could really run out of legs. It's a worrying thing.
I think the strength we've got is with players like Morgan and Mark and Joel when he's around. we can basically just stick them in the end zone and throw high floaty hucks, which I excel at.
We can
So,
we've got a plan B.
We've got a plan B.
it's all
Throw
right.
Swill.
Okay.
No, plans B, give it to someone who can throw properly. Plan B is throw Swill.
Okay. No, that's good thoughts there. I think Morgan will probably consider, going to a predominant zone setup later in the stages of the league, simply because he's not going to have.
doesn't look so confident in the crowd there. Sick.
Okay, I've called it right.
He's called it already.
So
I changed my most D's to Morgan then.
it could end up that way. Morgan's team is going to struggle with legs, and he's going to have to find ways on O and D to combat that.
Yeah, I think James Conner and Mike Middleton will definitely be doing all the running.
Same there, big calves.
Me? No, it's all right. I'm a
You'll
expected
sit this
player.
one out.
I come on for 1 or 2 points, get the points, and steer the boat.
So, gentlemen, who's your pick to win the league?
I reckon if things go their way and they don't get injuries, Beach Black might take this out. I think you're still at the Black team.
Yep.
I think especially if they come together and the wind stays down for them, no one's going to be able to keep up with them. Oregon, they're a chance. It's going to be close, so it's not just going to be one team winning every game this year. No.
So, Sammy, who do you think is going to win the league?
I'm actually putting my money on Johnny's team.
Yeah.
Just because they've got the all-rounder, they can counter the threats from... the other three teams are almost... Well, Foley and BJ's especially are almost specialist teams, with Foley who's got a lot of high, tall receivers. BJ's got a lot of quick little disc movers. I think Johnny's got a good capability to move around that. After that, and without wanting to avoid nepotism, if we can keep legs, I think Morgan's team's got the next most well-rounded team.
Yep.
And can hopefully deal with all the conditions. But
Okay.
I think Johnny's probably got it at the moment.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Ben Foley's team here.
Oh!
I think they've just got too much on the athleticism side of things, and no team's going to be able to compete with them at the end of the day. It's going to come down to that high floaty grab in the end zone, and unfortunately,
Yeah, but we've got Morgan sitting there, so we're sweet.
Well, I was going to say for all of my and Brucey's talents, we're still short guys, and we're not going to come up against Ben Foley.
Well, Bruce has been consistently skied by Tessa.
It happened twice. It was
Well,
one game, long time ago now.
on that thinking, Ben Foley's
it's a
team
touchy
might
subject.
lose because they've got Tim Davis,
Tim
who's
Davis.
also
been skied by Tessa.
been skied by Tessa.
And Ryan Dutch, who got skied by Tessa.
And Ryan Dutch. And incidentally, Tessa skied both Ryan Dutch and Tim Davis in the same point.
In the same point.
On
yes.
the same grab.
Yes.
Points 1 then 2. Can I pick Tessa first?
I think the resolution we've come to is Tessa wins Super League.
Yeah, Tessa wins Super League.
All right. No, I seriously think Ben Foley's team. BJ wanted another small, fast person, I think. Okay. All right. So we've got our three tips. What about the other placings, guys? Who's going to come second, third, and fourth?
Oh, well, mine are already Johnny's, then Morgan's team. Out of Foley and BJ's team, I think if BJ can remain uninjured, probably the sheer speed combined with having a few talls and a few guys who can play deep, I think BJ is going to be there.
Yep.
And then probably Foley's team coming in, bringing up the rear.
Yep.
Yeah, it shows how much faith we have in our own team. I think we've just...
Yeah, I'm going with the nepotism factor there.
no, definitely Beej's team, then us. Oh, Morgan's team.
Yep.
And then Foley, then Johnny.
Yep.
You guys.
Okay.
That's last.
Obviously, Ben Foley for his team for mine. I think Beach is going to really push that team. His team is kind of the complete opposite of Ben's team, so it could get interesting when those two face off. So I think Beach's team's going to come second, and then I think it's going to be pretty tight between Johnny and Morgan's team for last spot. I think
It's going to be a race to the finish.
it's going to be a
spoon game.
it's going to be a race to see who can suck most, pretty much. Now,
Johnny's got more players in his team. Does that mean his team will suck more or less?
I don't know. We're talking about
Are we talking
suck
per person suckage?
yeah, suck
right.
per capita.
Suck per capita, yeah.
All right, and on that bombshell, I think we'll leave it there. That's the draft recap. Thanks for joining us, guys.
You're welcome.
I think we'll be coming back for a few highlight shows and a finals preview when we get towards the end of the season there. apart from that, thank you and see you later. Right, so pretty much. I'm gonna ask exactly the same questions. Okay, and welcome back to the. Shut up. Okay,